What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well and having a great day so far, and hopefully, your weather is good. If not, well, I got information on what is coming your way in the near future with today's weather update for Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where I do a daily weather video on all things weather in the United States, plus, from time to time, we do talk about weather records and climate related stuff around the world. Today we're going to focus on the United States weather forecast. So if you're new here, subscribe down below, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you know when I do my daily video, which is usually in the afternoon, sometimes in the morning, and comments down below and share this with anyone you know. The more people we can help keep informed, the better. All right, starting off today with the National Radar picture, you can see here that there is quite a few things going on. First off, we have very heavy rainfall across central and southern Florida. We also do have a weak disturbance that is moving through the Great Lakes at this time. Plus, we do have a system that is moving through Texas. It's an upper level low, and with that, there are some showers and thunderstorms, and there is even a slight risk of some severe weather with this as well. Doing a zoom into what's going on in Florida, and I'm going to overlay this with the hazards. You can see here, the rain's been continuing. The flood watches continue in South Florida. There's even one severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, which, hey, it's not out of the question you get a severe warned storm within all this, but the big thing is the flooding. And when we take a look at radar, we can do estimates for how much rainfall has occurred so far. And let's zoom in here. And you can see some areas already 5 to 8 inches of rainfall have fallen in portions of southern Florida. And then over near Miami, you can see here, not as much in the way of rainfall for you just yet. You have had generally less than what's going on the western coast, but still, it looks like Miami Beach, a general 2 to 4 inches, even localized 5 inches of rainfall have already occurred in this area. Taking a look now at the National Hazards Map, we can see here that in the southwest U.S., you are still dealing with some hot conditions and heat. That heat is going to remain there for maybe another day or two, but it's going to slowly start pushing east and eventually build northward. And we will even start to see temperatures increasing in the northeast before this week is done, before a cool down comes for the weekend. All right, taking a look now at this. That's right, we now have Invest 90L, which has formed in the Gulf of Mexico. This is part of the system that is bringing the rainfall to Florida, and it only has 10% chance of tropical development at this time, and in the 7-day period, it goes up to about a 20% chance. This system, this disturbance, will go over Florida, then it will go into the Atlantic, and we'll have to keep an eye on it. I mean, it could become a named system or a tropical depression. Right now, things are not really favorable for it, and here's how it looks on satellite. It's pretty much a disorganized mess, but if you look really closely right here, you can see there is some sort of a spin circulation with this, so that right there would probably be the center of the system, and it's going to slowly make its way over Florida, and Florida will gradually see several more rounds of thunderstorms throughout the rest of the week. Taking a look now at what is going on with storm reports yesterday. There were 128 storm reports on Monday. 2 of them were tornadoes, which were in Texas. Wind reports, there were 91. 3 of them were really large, high wind reports. And of course, there were 35 hail reports, 7 large hail reports, 128 reports total. Taking a look at today's threat of severe weather, not very big. You got a marginal risk across portions of North Carolina. A marginal risk has now been added for Florida. Like I said, there was already a severe thunderstorm warning there just a bit ago. You do have a marginal risk across Iowa, portions of Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Then you do have a marginal risk of severe weather across portions of Colorado and portions of New Mexico. And then a marginal risk and slight risk in Texas. But quite frankly, I'm not terribly concerned about it. I'm not all that impressed. It's not really that impressive. There is a 2% tornado area that just got added for Florida that was not there earlier. Wind, the highest threat for a wind would be in Texas with that slight risk, and hail, it's just 5% throughout all the risk areas tomorrow. is a little bit more interesting. We do have an upper Midwest threat from portions of Iowa into Wisconsin, western Wisconsin, Minnesota, portions of South Dakota, and portions extreme northeast portions of Nebraska. And you can see here tomorrow there's a 5% tornado threat. Wind is at 15%, and hail is now hatched at 15%. And there is even some wording in some of the discussions from the Storm Prediction Center that they may upgrade this to an enhanced risk tomorrow. And I've been anticipating that could be coming because on day 3 they had a hatch area at 15% as well. Taking a look at the HRRR model for the rest of today, and we can see our heavy rainfall threat over Florida. It is really going to continue. It will start to push south a little bit, but as we head into overnight tonight, another round will start to erupt and will build in the Gulf, and there'll still be showers and thunderstorms that will be ongoing in South Florida. It just won't be as numerous as what you're seeing right now. And then tomorrow, when we switch models, we'll switch over to the NAM model, and we'll take a look at this, and you can see on the NAM model, watch what happens here. Another round starts to build in the Gulf, and as we head into Wednesday afternoon, that does come on shore, but the NAM is showing that that round is going to set up a bit more north, and then watch what happens in southern Florida. You can see here, another round gets going, so you're basically going to be dealing with round after round, and this does try to develop the tropical system, but I must express caution. Never really used the NAM model for tropical development. We can also take a look at the RGM model as well, and we'll actually backtrack this. You can see the RGEM model was doing a pretty good job, and you can see here, it does continue the showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight, and it does also erupt another round tomorrow. A little bit better than the NAM does. The NAM was kind of on the weaker side for Florida, and let's actually zoom this into the southeast U.S., and you'll see here, round after round keeps going. Now we are taking a look at overnight tomorrow night into Thursday morning, and that's a pretty significant round of showers and thunderstorms with this system. That eventually collapses, and then yet another round gets going on Friday. How much future rainfall does the RGM model have? Check this out. Yes, this is another 4 to 8 inches of rainfall, widespread. But where you see these oranges and yellows, yes, that is anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall. And you saw on radar, and we can go back to that, you saw on radar, there is already an area in southwest Florida that has 4 to 8 inches of rain. Look at this area here. I mean, 8.25, over 8.5 inches of rain. That is a lot of rainfall with models showing a lot more rainfall. Flooding, it's going to be a concern. Now, the ground can handle it a little bit better in these areas in Florida, but even so, with this much rainfall, it could definitely cause some problems. I already saw a video on X in Tampa area, which, by the way, the RGM's not showing a lot more rain there, but you will still see showers and thunderstorms, some of them which could be slow moving. I've already seen some video there of flooded roadways. All right, taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center, you can see here, marginal risk of excessive rainfall in Texas, slight risk in Florida. And then when we go to day 2, taking a look at that, slight risk in Florida, marginal risk in Texas, marginal risk in the Midwest, and there's even a day 3 slight risk in Florida, and a marginal risk across portions of Indiana and Illinois for excessive rainfall. Alrighty, moving on now. Here's the Weather Prediction Center. Days 1 through 7 precipitation amounts. And you can see here, they are showing widespread 5 to 7 inches of rainfall still across portions of Florida with localized 10 plus. And you do see here, rainfall amounts are a little bit more impressive today from days 1 through 7 across portions of the Midwest. A lot of this is from the severe thunderstorms tomorrow, where you could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Locally, 2.5 inches of rainfall with that. In the Northeast, a little bit wetter on today's day 1 through 7 precipitation totals, but still not enough that it's going to eradicate this little dry spell that is starting to pop up around portions of Pennsylvania, New Jersey. That may actually expand, and the West Coast, aside from the Pacific Northwest in Oregon and Washington, relatively dry for you at this time. Then we do see here Louisiana. There's still a wild card area. We'll have to watch what happens for you as to whether or not you get in on some tropical moisture activity as well. Alrighty, moving on to this. Next week, there's going to be a threat for heat, and that may even start later this week. The heat that we're seeing in the southwest right now, it's going to build for late week for portions of the I-95 corridor, but next week, much more of the country is really going to heat up. The Weather Prediction Center put this out on X, and I want to read this to you. Heat and humidity will be on the increase through the end of this weekend, and into early next week across much of the central and eastern United States. The graphics below to cite the percent chances for maximum heat indexes of around 100 degrees. So take a look at this. Can we zoom this in? Okay, we can't, but take a look at this. Anywhere in these reds, that's a high chance of heat indexes going over 100. Anywhere in these orange, hey, that's a decent moderate chance. Anywhere in the green, you have at least some chance. This is covering a large area of the United States. Let's head over to the GFS and we'll take a look at a couple things on the GFS. First off, I do want to show you, you can see here that things are going to eventually get quieter for Florida. And that'll probably happen as we head into the second half of the weekend. But you also see here that precipitation for Louisiana that I was talking about maybe for the second half of the weekend into next week. It's still a question mark. And you can see here some of it does lift northward. But what else happens with this is, take a look here. I'm going to switch to the 500 millibar level. You can see here a big ridge sets up. So this moisture being pulled northward, while it may happen over Louisiana, something else is getting pulled northward, and that is hot, humid conditions. And you can see here, underneath this ridge, which really does start to build and park itself over a large portion of the United States, you're going to have very hot and humid conditions. How hot? Well, take a look here at what we're looking at as we head into next week. Here's 18Z on Tuesday, and you can see here, across Louisiana, you may not be as hot, and maybe even portions of Mississippi, Arkansas, because you might have that influence with the tropical moisture that sets up. There's a lot of mild discrepancy with that, but around these areas surrounding, take a look here. Here's the East Coast. You can see widespread 90s. Western Texas, right on up into the plains, widespread 90s. As I advance this deeper into next week, look what happens on Wednesday. There's still in between that wedge of moisture, but watch what happens. I'm going to continue to advance this. The heat builds even more. You can see here. Look over Washington, D.C., southeast Pennsylvania, widespread 90s. And then as we head into late next week, look at this. Widespread 90s to even near 100. These are surface temperatures. And you can see there's already more heat building back across the plains. Eventually, that is going to push east as well. Now we're into 270 hours out, June 22nd. And you can see just day after day of temperatures in the 90s. This will likely be a heat wave for the East Coast. Places like Philadelphia, you'll probably have your first heat wave. If you haven't had it yet, later this week. It'll probably definitely happen next week, and this could be an extended heat wave. And then when we get into the 300 hours, now mind you, we're really far out there on the GFS. Take a look what happens from Texas all the way up to the North Plains. Yes, 100s, widespread. Heat indexes, 110 to 115. It's possible. There's going to be extended periods of heat for the second half of the month for a good portion of the United States. But there is one other thing I want to bring to your attention. Let's backtrack this. The Pacific Northwest, right here, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, you're actually going to be relatively below average. Look at this. I'm just going on and on and on here. Take a look at this. Even nighttime lows below freezing in mid to late June. Yes, it could happen up there. You can see here. You're going to be in a relatively cool pattern, and you'll even have showers. And look at this. You can see here, now it's dry at this point, but down the line, look at that. Showers do enter the picture again, so it's not going to be hot for everyone, but the majority of the country, major heat is coming. Let's take a look at the Weather Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Well above average for much of the eastern portion of the country. You can see that below average area in the Pacific Northwest. Precipitation. Heaviest precipitation will be in the south. Not going to be much precipitation in the mid-Atlantic and northeast. It's going to be relatively dry. I think that dry area I've been talking about, I can show that right here. I think this dry area is going to eventually increase in size in the mid-Atlantic region. Going back to the Weather Prediction Center, relatively slightly above average in the northwest and in the northern plains. Northern plains, you could have a few more severe weather threats. Taking a look at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, well above average for much of the country, with exceptions to Idaho and the Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon. You'll probably be near normal at that point, but very hot in the east, very hot in the plains. Temperatures well into the 90s. A few locations will hit 100 degrees to finish out the month of June. So yes, very concerning what's going to be coming second half. Start planning now, because you don't want to be spending a lot of time outdoors, especially the second half of next week and beyond. And there's not much signs of any indication for relief in the future as well. This is going to be an extended period of hot weather. And finally, take a look at the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. We can see slightly above average in the northern plains and Pacific Northwest, and well above average along the Gulf Coast. We'll have to watch the tropical moisture. There could be some more tropical threats, maybe another invest down the line that bears watching. In between, below average precipitation for you. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Tuesday weather video. We'll have another weather update video again tomorrow. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. And of course, share these videos with anyone you know. Hit that notification bell. And remember, you can follow me on X when I am not posting videos here at Climate Data Report. So in between videos, you want to see what I'm posting there? Just follow it at Climate Data Report. I will see you all again tomorrow with more on this potentially significant period of heat that could be coming next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.